Episode 13, Goth Thursday, Part 2. The scraping sound of death that you're going to hear is the sound of my husband shoveling us out of 30 plus inches of snow. So my back hurts and I get to stay inside and paint. I had to take a break on the flower lady because she's still wet and there's a very uncomfortable sensation of painting into like kind of wet paint. So either keep it wet by using a better medium. I use a medium that has relatively fast drying time, so I used a lot of titanium white, so that still means 2 days instead of like 4. But anyway, I'll get back to her when she's dry, and I can retouch her and really put the finishing touches on her. In the meantime, I'm going to block this guy in today, and I'm going to do like I did with the lady, where I make kind of like a little bit of a wipeout block in, because she's going to have a really dark background. But I thought I'd talk about how I make palette choices, meaning what colors I put out for what painting. She's obviously got like some really chromatic reds, but I think I can get there with vermilion. So I'm going to put my friend vermilion out. I'm going to tone my canvas with the Williamsburg raw umber because it's super neutral and the background is going to be black. So I need to build up my darks. I definitely never ever want to tone my canvas or panel with ivory black. Ivory black is a super slow dryer, and I will be constantly picking it up with my paintbrush and mixing it into everything, and she's a white figure. The last thing in the world I want to do is have to fight black in all my mixtures. Because when you put ivory black with white, it turns blue, and there's nothing blue about her. So, she is porcelain, which means in this light source, her halftones tend towards purple. So for that, I like to use the Gamblin raw umber and white. The Gamblin raw umber, just for some reason, purple is the last thing that I would pick for making a raw umber pigment, but it does kind of do a little purple action. And then I'll add a little cerulean to give a little bit of a hue variety in the midtones. I'm not real sure how I'm going to get, there's like lots of little gold details on her. I might actually gold leaf it. But in the meantime, I can get kind of close with Cad Orange. Again, you'll find a lot of Gamblin on my palette, even though I'm a paint snob. Cadmiums are really expensive, and Gamblin uses the same kind of cadmium as Michael Harding does. It's just cheaper. I don't know why. I find that that works fine. So it's like, you gotta choose. This Michael Harding tube of vermilion was like $60, so you gotta choose when you're gonna spend your money, is my advice. Not that many people make vermilion, so. I'm also going to put out yellow ochre to help me get those golds. There's some black and a little bit of like a seafoam green is all the pattern on her, which I guess I'll paint today. I was considering not painting it at all, but for that I'm going to use lead tin yellow and cerulean. It's kind of like a lime green. So I might end up needing Cad yellow, which is also Gamblin. Lead tin yellow is a great pigment to own because it's a nice way to pump up your value while keeping chroma high. So that means I want to make something lighter, but anytime I add white to anything, it's going to kill the chroma. That's what happens. So that's why when you like first start painting and you try to render an apple in color, you keep adding white to the red and it keeps looking pinker and less apple-like. So I'd suggest everybody take a nice class in color and light to understand how color and value are related. So ivory black for the blacks. I use the Old Holland. Ivory black really doesn't seem to matter. I just like Old Holland paints and use them when I can. So other than that, that's my palette. Now, if I was painting a human, like in a figure class, it would be very different. I would use some pretty different things. I would have alizarin, raw umber from Old Holland, which, like I've said in the past, has some yellow to it, which is nice. Raw sienna, never burnt sienna, sorry Greg. And then I probably, vermilion for sure, ivory black, yellow ochre, white, and that would be it. You need a red, a yellow, and a blue. So my yellow would be yellow ochre, my red would be vermilion, and for coolness sake I would have alizarin out. I got 2 more yellows in raw sienna and raw umber, and blue is black. So that pretty much covers me. He's back from shoveling, so I'm gonna go.